Welcome to Understand the Math. In this problem, we're given a matrix A and a vector W, and we're asked to determine if W is in the null space of A and if W is in the column space of A. Before we solve this problem, I want to go over a little bit of theory so that we can understand what we need to do. W is in the null space of A if matrix A times vector W is equal to the zero vector. So what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to check if A times W is equal to 0. So let's go ahead and let's do that. Our A times W is equal to our matrix minus 12, 48, minus 3, and 12. And we multiply that by vector W, 4, 1. And what we get is a minus 48 plus 48 for our first component, and then a minus 12 plus 12 for our second component. And you can see that this is equal to 0, 0. And this is our zero vector. So we can conclude that W is in the null space of matrix A. Now let's look at the column space. W is in the column space of A if W is a linear combination of the columns of matrix A. What we mean by a linear combination is that W is C1 times A1. Well, let's go back up here. Let me go ahead and let's label this. This is going to be A1, and this is going to be A2. So our W would just be a linear combination of the columns of matrix A. To check this, what we're going to do is we're going to take A1 and A2. Those are our columns of matrix A. We're going to augment it with W, and we're going to put it in echelon form, and we're just going to see if a solution exists. Remember, echelon form is the form that we have to reduce our augmented matrix to if we want to see what type of solution we have. I'm going to begin by putting the columns of our matrix on the left. So this is a minus 12, minus 3. And then our second column is a 48, 12. And then on the right, we're going to have our vector W, which is 4, 1. Let's go ahead and circle our first pivot. When I look at row 1, I notice that every entry in row 1 is a multiple of 4. So I'm going to go ahead and start by taking row 1 and replacing it with row 1 divided by 4. Let's see what this gives us. We're going to take every entry in row 1 and divide it by 4. So we get a minus 3, a 12, and a 1. And then we notice that our second row is exactly the same. Whenever you have a repeat row, you know that when you do row reduction, that row is going to go to 0. So let's go ahead and let's do that. This becomes minus 3, 12, 1. And then our second row, all the entries are equal to 0. So let's circle our pivot. We have one pivot, and then we have a row of all zeros. And we have a column that's missing a pivot. Because we have a column that's missing a pivot, we're going to have infinitely many solutions. So our augmented matrix has a solution. In fact, it has infinitely many solutions. Because a solution exists, this tells us that W is in the column space of A.
If this video has been helpful to you, please consider subscribing to my channel. Keep believing in yourself and have a great rest of your day.